Welcome to yet another podcast episode on the Awaken Women Podcast. I am super excited to be here. Today, we're going to talk about burnout. We're going to speak to why so many women feel so exhausted and why that's nothing to do with them being unmotivated, weak, or lazy. And I think it's important to speak to these things because if we are aware that they are happening, if we are aware that they are a thing, we can now then recognize if we find ourselves in that space ourselves, because otherwise we are going in this cycle of creating burnout, releasing a little bit, resting a little bit, then going and living our life with our nervous system unregulated. So today I want to speak to you, to the woman who feels tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix. Not the kind of tiredness that comes from a busy day, but the kind of tiredness that no rest can actually fix. It's a nervous system burnout. It's your nervous system being in a fight or flight or freeze mode for long enough so that it comes to a burnout. And how it feels like you are tired on a physical level, on the spiritual level, on the emotional level. It feels like you do not have a capacity to hold things that previously didn't really make that much. They weren't that much of a challenge before. It's very hard to deal with life when we are in a state of a burnout. So if you ever thought to yourself, why can't I just be like everyone else, and just why do I get through those stages of tiredness and that I have to withdraw and isolate, and what is wrong with me? You need to listen to this podcast episode. I want you to hear this today. And the most important message is that there's nothing wrong with you and you are not broken. And the fact that you are struggling in that way only points to the fact that it's time for you to compassionately and lovingly look at yourself, slow down the pace of your life, remove what doesn't have to be there anymore, what shouldn't be there, what's draining you. Remove that from your life, and then honor your rest. Soul exhaustion does not rest through just having extra hours sleep or naps during the day. So what happens when we are in that state is we get so lost with the brain fog happens, the tiredness, the procrastination enhances is a big thing. You feel numb. You may feel overwhelmed. You may feel like you really just can't deal with no one and nothing at the moment. It feels like the simple task of brushing your teeth in the morning or going to work, or a simple task of, they say going to work is a simple task. It's not a simple task for many of us. But a simple task in a daily routine can feel like climbing a mountain. And so it can show as a body is refusing to carry on. That your body, your soul, your emotional body, your physical, mental body is refusing to carry on. Quite rightly so, because our body keeps the score, and our body knows when enough is enough. And I want you to integrate the fact that this is not laziness. It is nervous system that has been strong for way too long. Your nervous system is asking to be seen, to be tended to. And so when you realize and you find this moment of peace and stillness within, and you understand that, wow, maybe, just maybe, this episode came and landed in my ear, or in my on my phone, on my device, because I needed to hear that I may be burning out, that I may be going through a nervous system burnout. So what are the things that are leading us to the burnout? Let's talk to that, because there are a lot of things that we might not actually associate with burning out. And one thing that definitely is, or traits that I see with a lot of women, and that's myself too, and one of the things that lead to a burnout, lead to that exhaustion of a spirit, is over-pleasing, is over-explaining, it's over-performing, it's thinking that you are never good enough, it's not being able to switch off. And even in those moments when you said that you're going to relax and sit down and do something that's not requiring you to perform, you still find yourself lost in your mind, lost in your thoughts, projecting and reliving past experiences, reliving the future, projecting fear into the future, projecting fear into the past. And so these behaviors can really lead to exhaustion, because it takes so much energy to mask your needs, your wants, to not speak your truth. It takes a lot of energy to please people, even when you really don't feel like doing so. You just don't have the capacity anymore. You just don't have the resources anymore. When you understand that being a good girl kept you safe at some point, and it was a survival mechanism, it's time to take your inner girl by the hand as your adult self, as your sovereign being, as your mother of your own. And as you grab yourself by the hand, you can remind yourself that this part of you that needs to perform, the part of you that needs to please, needs to do things for others, for the validation of that, earning the love just to feel useful, exchanging, performing, conforming. Every time that you're living out of alignment with your soul, with your wants, with your needs, with honoring of who you are, it exhausts your spirit. It takes away from your vitality, from your willingness to do things, to create, to move forward, to heal. Every time, the fact that you are pleasing, the fact that you think that you have to perform, the fact that you think that you always have to do things, that there's the list of things that is never ending. And if you meet yourself and see yourself as the beautiful, beautiful girl, beautiful, beautiful being, this beautiful woman that you are, with your beautiful heart and the kindness and the compassion that you hold for others, the understanding that you hold for your children, the patience, forgiveness that you give to others, when you understand that the very person that needs all of this is you, first and foremost, and that the only source that it could come from and be effective in your healing journey is you, that no one else can shift that for you. When you make a decision that I'm no longer going to be pleasing my children just because I want them, that's how I think I'm going to connect with them. I'm going to understand that this friend that keeps asking me and overbearing me and keeps kind of breaking my boundaries, I can have a loving, honest conversation with that friend and make things straight up and make them work well for me, for the good of all. When I understand that being a good girl doesn't actually get me what I want, and that people actually walk all over me because I am always nice and always good. And I don't mean for you to become someone who's not pleasant to be around or someone who is isolated and walled off from the world. It's not about that. It's about holding your own boundaries with love and compassion towards others. Because the more boundaries you hold in a way, the more your boundaries are clear to you of what you allow in your life, what is okay with you, when do you want to give, that you're giving and you're pleasing others, your sharing of you happens only and only when you decide that this feels good, this feels exciting, I want to share, I want to give. And this is the only place that you give from, that you don't give from the place of trying to get validation or earning peace. Because guess what? If you are earning peace in any area of your life, if you have to earn the peace, meaning that you have to keep quiet, or you have to forget about your needs and wants to keep the peace, then just know that sometimes this is the sign that you may not be in the right place and with the right people. When you don't feel like you can be who you are, when you don't feel that you can speak what you feel and completely own your opinion safely. The way we have been brought up, oftentimes, as a girl, as a female in this world, I'm gonna have a sip of my tea. Lemon and ginger. So when you understand that the way you present yourself in the world and how you think that you need to get that validation, I'm here to tell you that there's nothing and no one on this planet or in this universe that will make you feel any other way, that will give you the happiness that's sustainable and it's never gonna be shaken if you try to derive that from anyone or anything. It's not sustainable. But when we understand that actually I don't have to do anything in a way of like, I don't have to go and please people out of my alignment. I don't have to hide my truth, what I think, what I believe. I don't have to hide my feelings if they are present. I can learn to self-regulate and I can learn to speak about my feelings openly and with no emotional entanglement. And it's okay for me to let go and cut away things and energies, places, people, jobs, whatever. It's okay for me to cut them out. I have the power and the sovereignty to make a decision of what is allowed in my life. Because when I see my life, my entire life, from my body to what I eat, to my family, to my home, to my reality, and if I have the honor, and I honor this reality in the most loving way, understanding that this is the most important thing. I am the center of my universe, not because nothing else matters. And I understand I'm part of the universe, part of the bigger whole, but at the same time, when it comes to me deciding where is my energy being drained, then you have every right to sit down and write down what are the things that are no longer aligned, what needs to go, what am I sick and tired of. So let's just recognize that people pleasing is a surviving strategy. It's a coping mechanism from childhood, from younger age. And so honor that part of you because it got you to where you are today. Our coping mechanisms are our saviors. And at some point, that was exactly what we needed to do. We needed to be a good girl. We needed to be pleasing. We needed to be condoning and obedient. And so just know that as your adult self, as you hear and listen to me today, you can make a pact with yourself and decide today that you will never, ever go against your own sovereign self, go against your soul's mission, go against your soul's needs and wants. Because change happens when we make a decision to change. So make one decision today. What is one thing that you are choosing to let go of that doesn't serve you anymore? Where can you honor yourself more? How can you meet you, your body, your nervous system, your calming? How can you start resetting yourself into your balanced self so that the burnout is not a thing that keeps coming around like a pattern? And at some point we get to the point when slowing down and resting actually feels unsafe. That it feels that the only way to actually keep myself safe is to keep moving. Rest can bring emotions to the surface as well. So what we can find is like that slowing down is so uncomfortable. That sitting down in the stillness may bring emotions, feelings, grief, of anger, feelings of loss, feelings of sadness. And I would assert that it's important to be with those feelings, and that's exactly what should happen. Because we have been holding on to those feelings, and in those moments of stillness, it may feel very uncomfortable to be there. But I want you to know that it is safe to feel your feelings. That it is in your feelings, it is in you meeting you, it is in the moment when you connect to your soul, to yourself, to your inner child, to your past, to your future, to your timeline. With the honor, with the honoring of that, which is you. You can take yourself away from thinking that you have to do anything. You have to be anything. the burnout can be, and often is, a result and byproduct of us trying to be and fit in and try to fit into this mold that we often actually create ourselves. There is a society, and there's obviously the subconscious belief system that we have got and we hold, but oftentimes we can be our own enemy because of the of the perfectionist side of us, or the high achiever side of us, often very intelligent side of you, that's like gives you all these ideas of what you should be. And then it's so hard to let go of the fact that that version may not actually be you. So then you end up chasing this version of you, which then ends up being not you, and ends up being overwhelmed and exhausted. This can lead to suicidal thoughts, this can lead to fatigue, loss of joy, this can lead to resistance, depression, these feelings of being lost and blocked and stuck. But if rest feels uncomfortable, then that's exactly what your body needs. It's to be in that rest. It's to learn that, remembering that any animal in nature takes the time to really rest. There is intervals of life, there's cycles, there's the world and the universe and the planet and animals and animal kingdom is cyclical. We work to then rest. Yet in today's society, it seems like we just work. There's no stopping. Rest isn't fancy. Rest isn't popular. It's not. What's the word? It's not desirable. It's not cool to rest. But when we understand that the rest has to be intrinsic part of life, and it has to be intrinsic part of any goal, that to achieve any goal is not about doing a lot in one moment. It's about consistency, it's about persistency, it's about slow progression. And that can only happen when we allow for work and rest, work and rejuvenation, showing up for the goals and completely switching off from the goals, showing up to the family, to where we need to be when it's necessary, when we are called, when it's joyful, when we're spending the time doing the work, spending the time with the family, spending the time with friends, doing this project, finishing the project, whatever, and then switching off from that which is you're working on. And that is the very thing that will keep you going, and also will keep the longevity of your life, the health, the balance in your life. And trust me, my love, I'm speaking to myself as much as I'm speaking to you, because we are learning, we are in this together, we are learning together, and I hope, we are on this journey of discovery together. And your body knows that something is off. Now, how do we listen to the body? The body speaks. It speaks through feeling constantly exhausted physically. It doesn't matter how many hours you sleep. It just feels like you are not getting rested. It feels like an emotional exhaustion. It feels like adding anything to where I already am would be too much, way too much, and I don't feel like I could hold it. It feels like resistance in your body, that your body feels like it's burdened, like it feels like you have heavy backpack that you carry on your shoulders. It shows in overall tension of your body. It shows in you snapping, not being able to hold your emotions, self-regulating. And I want you to know that all of this is not weakness. All of this is wisdom. It's your body telling you that something has to be looked at, that maybe there's more tending that needs to happen, that maybe, just maybe, you have been overworking yourself, overperforming, overgiving, overstimulating. And nothing needs to be fixed today. Just know that this is a day-by-day, step-by-step process. Trying to recognize when you are at every day. Maybe every morning taking the time to asking yourself a question: how do I feel today? And how can I honor myself today? In my mirror in my bathroom, on my mirror in my bathroom, I've written it with the lipstick, with the pink lipstick, and it says, how can I honor myself today? And that speaks to me listening to my body. That speaks to me showing up for my goals. That speaks to me resting when I need to and not feeling lazy because I do. It's like a reminder that slowing down is not a failure. That because I am tired doesn't mean I'm a failure. And also, if I understand and remind myself, this is how I reframed it for myself, is resting and rejuvenation and recovery is actually leadership. Why? Because you are at your best when you are rested, when every need of yours is met, your physical, emotional, spiritual needs are met. That's when you, my love, are thriving. So this work for you to meet yourself where you're at is not for you to fix you, because you do not need fixing. And it's not to push you into something that you are not. It's more about remembrance of who you are and honoring of who you are in this lifetime, on this planet, with your journey, with everything that you've been, everything that you are, and everything that you are yet to come, to become. Honor that. Love her. Be present with her. It is in the present moment do we find the stillness. Can we calm the nervous system down? Can we remind ourselves that it is safe to be you? It is safe to speak your truth. That it is safe and that you belong. And that is all well. It really is most of the time all well. Thank you so much for listening in. For those that are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel and share this channel with those that you love, those that you think that might benefit from this. If you enjoyed this podcast, share it. And for those on Spotify, thank you so much. And share the podcast with those that you love. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you on the next one. Have a beautiful week and take care.